Ever hit that wall in your business? Like you're spinning your wheels but not getting anywhere. It can be crazy frustrating, especially for folks like us who are wired to grow and tackle new challenges. And that's what's so interesting about the source material we're diving into today. The idea is that your first business partner should be kind of like, well, a sparring partner.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Right. And no, I don't mean literally throwing punches, though a little friendly competition never hurts. But it's more about having someone who pushes you beyond what you think you're capable of, just like a good sparring partner.
Makes sense.
So let's dig into this. Why is this sparring partner dynamic so powerful in a business context? And how can we actually apply it? Our source paints this really vivid picture with this boxing analogy. Imagine you're in the ring and you've got someone in your corner whose sole focus is to make you a better fighter.
Right.
They're not taking it easy on you. They're throwing those jabs, those hooks.
Those unexpected punches.
Exactly. The ones that make you think on your feet, help you refine your technique and come back stronger.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting? That's exactly what this source says about business. They talk about the dangers of getting too comfy.
Yeah, that whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality.
Right. And look, I get it. When things are running smoothly, you don't want to mess with a good thing. But here's the thing, that's often how stagnation sets in.
And stagnation in the business world? Well, let's just say it's not a recipe for success.
Definitely not. In fact, the source calls it a missed opportunity goldmine.
Ouch. Missed opportunities. That's gotta sting. Can you give us a concrete example of how that comfort zone complacency plays out in the real world?
Imagine this. You've got this awesome product.
Crushing it even.
Yeah, you're killing it in your market. Sales are consistent. Everyone's happy.
Smooth sailing?
Exactly. But here's the catch. Because you haven't felt the need to innovate, to evolve your product, a competitor swoops in with a new and improved version.
And just like that, you're yesterday's news.
Pretty much. Suddenly you're scrambling, trying to catch up, all because you got too comfortable instead of staying ahead of the game.
Okay, that's a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah.
So we got to stay on our toes, constantly innovating. But here's where this source material takes an interesting turn. It talks about how vulnerability can actually be an asset in this sparring partner relationship.
Interesting.
Right. It seems kind of counterintuitive. How can being vulnerable be a good thing in a business context?
It's all about perspective. See, a sparring partner, they've got that outside view. They can spot your blind spots.
The weaknesses you might not even realize you have.
Exactly. Whether it's a flaw in your technique or a gap in your defenses, they're not afraid to point it out because they're trying to help you improve.
And in business, what could those blind spots look like?
Oh, it could be anything, right? Your financials, the way you delegate tasks, how you approach risk.
Are any of those resonating with you?
The source dives into all of these, and it's fascinating stuff because the thing is, those blind spots, if you don't address them, they can really trip you up.
So having that sparring partner, someone who can help you see them and address them head on, that's crucial for growth.
Absolutely. It's huge. And the source does a great job of not just telling us why we need this sparring partner, but how to actually make it work. Like, it gets into the nitty-gritty of different areas of your business.
Okay, so let's talk tactics. Where do we start?
Well, it all begins with a plan, right?
Makes sense.
But even in that planning phase, that's where a sparring partner can be so valuable. They help you challenge your assumptions.
Oh, I see. So you don't get stuck in your own head thinking everything's going to magically work out.
Exactly. You need those ambitious goals, but they got to be achievable too. And you need to be ready for those bumps in the road. The source lays out this whole framework you can use to pressure test your plans.
Ooh, I like that. Pressure test. Got to make sure those plans can handle the heat. So that's planning. What about marketing and sales?
Oh man, your sales pitch. Right, think about it. You probably spent hours on it, tweaked it a million times.
Guilty as charged.
But a sparring partner can help you see it from a fresh perspective. Is it really speaking to your customers' needs? Are you hitting those pain points?
Because I can tell you from experience, there's nothing worse than pouring your heart into a pitch and it falls flat.
It's brutal. And this source, it really emphasizes having someone in your corner who can give you that honest feedback to make sure your message is on point. Speaking of hitting the mark, let's talk about product development.
Oh yeah, this source talked about having a sparring partner challenge your product ideas. How would that actually work?
It's all about asking those tough questions, the ones you might avoid asking yourself.
Like what? Give me an example.
Is this product really going to fly? Can you scale it? What makes it stand out from the crowd? Those are the questions a sparring partner can help you answer.
So it's like having your own personal devil's advocate for your product.
Exactly. They help you spot those potential problems before they become real problems, and that makes your product stronger in the long run.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now let's talk about something that I know a lot of entrepreneurs, myself included, might need some help with.
I'm sensing a but coming.
You know me too well. Numbers, financial management.
The dreaded financials. But this source is spot on. It's not enough to just keep your books tidy. You got to really dig into those numbers. Cash flow, burn rate, profit margins.
Burn rate. That's one of those terms I hear thrown around, but to be honest, I'm not always sure what it means.
Basically, it's how fast you're going through your cash, and it's super important to keep an eye on, especially when you're just starting out.
So are you saying I need to hire a CFO as my sparring partner?
Not necessarily, but having someone who understands financials, who can help you analyze those numbers and spot any red flags.
Like maybe if I'm neglecting to build a cash flow safety net.
Exactly. That's a common mistake.
See, this is why I need a sparring partner. I'd much rather focus on the creative stuff and have someone I trust to keep me on track with the numbers.
And that's the beauty of it. You leverage each other's strengths, fill in the gaps in your own expertise.
This has been amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We know why having a business sparring partner is so crucial. And we've even dug into how it works in different parts of a business. But how do we actually find this mythical sparring partner?
Yeah, they don't just show up at your door with a business plan and boxing gloves, right?
Sadly, no.
And this source I was telling you about, it really stresses that finding the right person for this, it's not a small thing. It's crucial. And it's not just about finding someone who's going to agree with everything you say.
No, definitely not. Been there, done that, got the yes man t-shirt, didn't end well.
Right. You need someone who's going to challenge you, push you to think differently. And ideally, they've got the experience to back it up. But maybe even more important than that, they have to be someone you trust. Someone who can be straight with you, even when it's hard to hear.
So not my friend who tells me every half-baked idea I have is going to make me $1 million.
Exactly. This is about tough love, constructive criticism, that willingness to push each other to grow.
Which honestly can be rough sometimes. Nobody likes to hear that their brilliant idea needs work or that they could have done something better. It can sting a little.
For sure, it takes vulnerability, right? But this source makes the point that this is where having that sparring partner mindset is so valuable. You're not looking for someone to just tell you what you want to hear. You need someone who's going to tell you what you need to hear, someone who's got your back and wants to see you succeed, even if it means having some uncomfortable conversations along the way.
Totally. And I love that this source pointed out that those sometimes awkward, uncomfortable conversations, those are often the ones that lead to those big breakthroughs. But here's something else from this source I thought was really insightful. It's not a one-way street. The best partnerships, they're about give and take, about being that sparring partner for someone else too.
I was just going to say that. This source calls it the key sign of a truly successful sparring partnership. That willingness to give and receive feedback. You're challenging each other, but you're also supporting each other every step of the way.
Such a good point. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this. Who are you a sparring partner for? Whose growth are you invested in? Because this isn't just about us individually leveling up. It's about all of us rising together, being part of a community of people who want to see each other succeed.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This deep dive really drove home the point that business, much like boxing, it's not a solo sport. Having someone in your corner and being that someone for others, it makes the whole journey more rewarding and definitely a lot more impactful.